In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, the totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of our principles of government. That is a summary of my report on a constitutional republic, not a democracy.
Welcome back to Notify America. We have multiple pressing stories to get to, stories that include Chicago's rampant crime problem and a novel solution that the brand new mayor over there just announced. Also, a new survey was just conducted and released by Harvard's School of Public Health on Americans' thoughts surrounding the safety of the jab. U.S. forces obliterate 3 Yemen ships and kill the Houthi rebels after they targeted a Maersk shipping vessel. And the Washington, D.C. establishment, the deep state, the swamp, is now trying to cover their butts as it's rumored that former President Trump has a rainy day intel package, an insurance policy that these people once raided his Mar-a-Lago home to retrieve. Well, we know that they never found it, but rumor has it that information is about to come out and come out in a big way. But before we get started, press the like button, subscribe, share the video with a friend. All of that helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, Happy New Year's to everyone. I wish all of you health and success in 2024. The much anticipated release of hundreds of sealed court filings that include the names of clients, associates, and friends of Jeffrey Epstein are scheduled to be released tomorrow. 177 names will be released, and according to ABC News, included in this list of names will be Prince Andrew's and former President Bill Clinton. In fact, Bill Clinton is reportedly named up to 50 times in the documents, and Judge Loretta Preska, who this is all thanks to, by the way, a brave lady, ruled earlier this month there was no legal justification for continuing to conceal the ex-president's name mentioned in the records. Watch.
And now to your headlines. We start with a developing story. Former President Bill Clinton is reportedly about to be identified in several court documents related to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. ABC reporting that Clinton is mentioned more than 50 times across the redacted documents, which are expected to be released tomorrow.
Now, we all already know about Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew. What we really care about are the names of the people that we don't know about. Which politicians or prominent people will we learn about in this document dump? Well, we'll keep you posted. We should have them for tomorrow, at least some of them. The Harvard School of Public Health conducted a survey that, among other things, attempted to gauge American sentiment surrounding the COVID jab. If it's safe, if you feel it's safe versus other jabs, that sort of thing. And they found that the majority of Americans did not feel it was safe and wanted to see additional research done. But they also found that the same sample group of people felt differently about the influenza jab, finding that the majority of them felt it was safe and effective. These are the questions that the majority of respondents, Americans over the age of 18, answered in the affirmative to. You would want to see more research done. That was the highest number of people saying yes to. Next is you would be worried about the safety of the jab. And third, the third highest is you do not trust the government and government agencies that promote the jab. In another story, a health crisis is plaguing Portland, Oregon, folks, as their homeless population is continuing to soar, not to mention violent crime, as well as local politicians. They start contending with these new policies of theirs, one being open-air drug markets. Well, the hygiene and cleanliness of the city is now having real-life consequences as residents have begun to contract a highly contagious bacteria called Shigella, a bacteria that's common in sub-Saharan African countries. So city officials have begun handing out these flyers to local residents in an effort to educate and inform people about the risks, symptoms, and the causes, how to avoid catching Shigella, for instance. Well, guess how that happens? Through fecal matter. The streets of Portland are covered in it. I'll spare you the videos and photos, but just know that residents in downtown Portland have begun sharing videos of this online. It's disgusting how every street corner, even stoops to local bodegas, are covered in diarrhea as the homeless population has decided to just let loose, apparently. The Clackamas County Health Department says to avoid stepping in it and like start stepping around areas like this. And this isn't satire, by the way. This is 100% true. Surprising that property prices aren't falling faster in Portland yet. Over in Chicago, Illinois, though, Mayor Brandon Johnson just announced a new solution to what he calls the out-of-control violent crime problem plaguing his city. In an interview on CNN, while speaking with anchor Poppy Harlow, Mayor Johnson unveiled his novel idea to solve this problem once and for all by issuing $500,000 worth from his city's budget for reparation checks. Let me know if you think, this idea is going to work, or if maybe it'd be a better idea to enforce common sense law and order, maybe refund the police while he's at it. By the way, you always hear these left-wing politicians throw around reparations whenever their poll numbers start dropping, and Chicago's mayor sits at the bottom of mayoral approval ratings right now. In another story, the U.S.-led coalition, nicknamed Operation Prosperity Guardian, to secure navigation through the Red Sea and through the Suez Canal, came under attack as they responded to a distress call from a Maersk container ship traveling through the Red Sea, the small waterway that is used by 12% of global commerce. Well, Yemen-based Houthi fighters opened fire on these U.S. helicopters before they just blew them out of the water. U.S. forces sunk 3 Yemen ships and killed their crew. Maersk has since suspended all Red Sea travel, which, by the way, is a big blow to the U.S., as it's their job to secure these maritime routes. Without them, U.S. hegemony disappears, and so far this subpar fighting force over there has managed somehow to close the entire Red Sea, apparently. In another story, an important story, by the way, as it gets to the corruption that plagues Washington, D.C., how ass covering comes first over there and the lengths that they'll go to cover up their crimes, as it looks like former President Donald Trump may indeed have a spare copy of that infamous intel package, the folder that the FBI raided his Florida home to find last year or in 2022. Remember this?
New reporting here after that unprecedented FBI search at the home of former President Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Tonight, ABC News has learned that the FBI told the Secret Service just 45 minutes before they arrived, and then the Secret Service telling Mar-a-Lago staff just moments before those agents arrived. Sources telling ABC News the search is related to allegations the former president improperly removed documents when he left the White House. They were brought to Mar-a-Lago, including classified material. And it wasn't the first time federal agents had been to Mar-a-Lago, their first visit in the spring. We have learned tonight that it was a staff member at Mar-a-Lago who called Eric Trump, and Eric Trump who then called his father to tell him about the search. The former president was in New York, seen leaving Trump Tower last night, and tonight here the first words from the former president while calling into a political event, saying, "Another day in paradise. This is a strange day." Sources tell ABC News the Department of Justice had started a grand jury investigation in May about alleged mishandling of classified information. Tonight, heavily armed Secret Service agents stand guard at the gate.
That was the FBI storming Mar-a-Lago in 2022. At the time, they said that he had documents that belonged to the National Archives, which never made any sense. You don't raid a former president's house because it's, he has National Archives presidential records or something that they want. There were other rumors as well that he had stolen nuclear secrets to pass to Russia or Saudi Arabia. Again, not true. It turns out what they were after was this binder of Russiagate documents that Trump had his advisor, specifically Kash Patel, who had a TS-SCI clearance at the time, which means he's cleared to see SAP programs, special access programs, to be read into these like black programs. That type of thing. So he had Kash Patel scour the FBI and the intel agencies during his final weeks of his administration for any Russiagate documents that they hadn't seen yet. And allegedly they found the crown jewels, folks, documents which prove all that collusion that CNN and corporate media screamed about for 4 years was actually carried out not by Donald Trump, but instead by DC's entrenched bureaucracy. And now these people are very nervous over the information coming out. Hence this recent CNN article titled "The Mystery of the Missing Binder: How a Collection of Raw Russian Intel Disappeared Under Trump." The Epic Times writes this, and that's what this is really all about. Information that President Trump has in his possession that proves the involvement of the FBI, DOJ, and other establishment agencies in their effort to tarnish him with their construction of the Russian collusion lie, which is why CNN all but gave away the entire premise behind the DOJ's directed FBI raid on President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in their new article. So what they get to is, it looks like this binder not only exists, but President Trump has a copy of it, and he could be planning to unveil it in his criminal trial against special counsel Jack Smith. They write this: 2 days before CNN ran its article on December 13th, President Trump's lawyers made a surprising announcement hidden in a footnote of a court document, one that apparently took prosecutor Jack Smith by surprise, notifying the court of their intention to disclose classified information at trial in support of this defense. And they go into further detail how they know this is the classified intel that his lawyers are referring to. The part of the story, though, that pisses me off is, once again, you have CNN running cover for the government. Not once in their story did they bother asking why this binder hasn't been released to the American public yet, in compliance, by the way, with Trump's presidential order. All right, that wraps up this episode. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.